Welcome to Pour the Wine. It's Rom-Com Time, where we'll sip some wine and review all things rom-com on the Hallmark Channel. I'm Amy.
And I'm Garry.
And you can send us an email to pourthewine@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts about anything Hallmark related. We would love to hear from you.
Yes, we would. And if you'd like to help other Hallmark fans find us, how about giving us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify? Or if you enjoy watching us over on YouTube at Pour the Wine is Rom-Com Time, click that like button, hit subscribe so you don't miss any of our episodes.
Now, we are going to be talking about The Way Home today.
Yes,
and we have been dropping some theories on social media and some videos. And we have been wrong,
Hey.
mostly about what we've said. And we've forgotten some things. I mean, I know there are some major points, but I just don't have a good memory like that for certain things in the storyline.
We're on the 4th season. I don't remember the 3rd or the 2nd or the 1st season.
Well, I remember some parts of it, but so it's been kind of interesting, and people are setting us straight, which is cool. That's what we want. That's what we need.
But just don't be mad at us, okay? We're just
they're not mad at us. No one's been mean or anything, but it's just kind of funny. We're like, oh, we forgot about that. Okay.
Yeah.
So no, I haven't taken it that way yet. I mean, so if you have theories, feel free to let us know, or let us know when we are definitely 100% wrong, which I usually am anyway. So
yeah, I mean, I enjoy trying to figure out what's going on. So if we are wrong, set us straight in the comments down below.
Yeah, just let us know. Yes. All right, today we're going to be reviewing season 4, episode number 5 of The Way Home, and is titled Don't Cry Out Loud. Yeah. It originally aired on the Hallmark Channel on Sunday, May 17th, 2026. You can watch it right now on Hallmark Plus, and you can catch up on The Way Home seasons 1 through 3 on Netflix also.
Yep, and this is the part of the podcast where if you haven't seen it yet, I would suggest stopping us. Yeah. Go watch it, come back, let us know what you think.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about who wrote and directed it?
Oh, you know what? I guess I could do that, huh?
Maybe.
Let's see. This episode was written by Alexandra Clark and directed by Tom Best. There you have it. Now sorry.
I feel like we're back in place.
I skipped. Or maybe I jumped.
Oh, I see what you did there. Yes. Okay.
All
right.
So, where did we leave off at?
Let me drop the synopsis first.
Oh, my gosh. Let me jump back in this pond and I'll be right back, okay?
Can you just go? Yeah, we need to jump back about
Pretend
10
I'm
minutes.
back and I'm wiping myself off. Here we go.
When Nick accompanies Kat in searching for details about Elliott's mother from the 1920s, they discover they might be out of their depth.
I get it.
Ooh, yeah.
Like a fish out of water.
Yeah. So we left off at the end of the last episode. Nick and Kat had jumped. Yep. And Nick was beside himself, excited.
Oh my gosh, was
right? Which is so great. Yeah. Love him in this episode too. Dell had fallen. The horse had kind of bucked her off.
Right.
And she had fallen and she was knocked out.
Yep.
And what else happened at the end of the last episode? Was there anything going on with Alice?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I can't remember. Yeah. Those were the main points, though.
Yes,
Dell is knocked out, and Kat and Nick have jumped. So there you go.
There you go. All right. So this particular episode starts off with a picture of Tessa holding Elliott as a young baby with a pond in the background.
Oh, that's right.
Remember
that?
Yes.
Yes.
And we didn't know that until somebody had pointed that out to us.
That the pond was in the background of the picture.
Yes. I did not notice that.
Yes,
so thank you for that catch. Yes.
Well, I thought, is that at the very beginning and then Dell's horse runs away? So
right.
What is that from? Who's holding the picture?
We don't know. That's it. Who took the picture, first of all, and who was ripped out of the picture? because
Right.
they're
I know we're
all
asking
at the
those
pond.
questions, but I'm a
So
little confused. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, but we
All right.
don't know who's holding that picture.
Right. So Dell's horse is running away.
Yep.
Nick and Kat pop up in the pond, and Nick is like so excited.
He's giddy, right?
I should
mean,
say we're going to do a recap and we'll review along the way and
yes,
say
our
what we
theories.
think,
Yes.
along the way.
Yeah,
And
there you go.
we don't listen to other podcasts before we drop ours.
Mm-mm.
And I try not to read too much online because I don't want anything to sway what we
Yeah.
say during our podcast. It's
Yep.
hard to do with this one because there's a lot of chatter online, but
Oh, a whole
Yeah.
bunch.
all right. So anyway, so Nick pops up and he's like, it's the world's best roller coaster.
I
He is just
know.
so thrilled to be jumping finally. Did
Oh
it
my
work?
goodness.
Are we where we need to be?
I know.
And
And
Kat's like, yes.
I know. How do you respond to somebody like that is experiencing this for the first time, right? It
Well,
would be kind of crazy.
I guess you just have to remember when you did it for the first time, what it was like.
Yeah.
Although they
And-
didn't know it was going to happen. So,
Right.
well, did they? No.
No, they just
Trying to
fell in the
remember the
water,
first
and next
jump.
thing I know, they came up and they were in a different time period.
Okay, yeah.
Scary.
Someone will set us straight about that too. So they are in 1925.
Yeah.
So then and this is another episode that goes back and forth and back and forth. So then it
Right.
comes back to the present and Dell's horse has run back to Landry Farm.
Mhm.
And Alice sees the horse and she knows that since the horse is by itself, something must have happened to Dell.
Yes,
Yes.
she does. She
And then
she gets scared.
And then we go to Dell and she is dreaming about Cole, that he's
Yeah.
there. He's helping her up. He walks with her and he walks her
Back
home.
home. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the love they had, right? For her to still be dreaming about him, thinking about him all those years later. It's like, I know the bond never leaves, but man.
Which is probably the reason she can't commit to anybody else. So
Yeah. Yeah.
But let me mention one thing real quick. When Nick and Kat came out of the pond, there is a bag of clothes for Kat.
Mm-hmm.
So Fern must have left them prior
Mhm.
to that jump. So she's got a red jacket she's wearing now to fit the time.
Right.
So
Right.
but yes, so Alice sees Dell come up and she's talking to Colton at first, but she's not because it's all up in her head. Or Dell,
Yes.
it's in her head. But Alice sees her and takes her inside. And that's funny because then as they're sitting at the table, Nick comes in, or not Nick,
Not Nick.
who is it?
Julie or Sam.
Yeah, Sam comes in, and then Julian comes in afterwards with a bottle of wine. So
Right. Right. And what's funny is, Dell tells Alice, I think you can leave now. I've got two highly attentive men to tend to me.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
She was like, "Did you tell the whole town?
Yeah, tell darn town." Does she say darn the whole darn town?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Alice, of course, called for help because she didn't know
Right.
where Dell was or what
And it
had
was the right
happened to
thing to
her.
do.
Yes, it was the right thing to do. But right before that, though, before we got to that scene where the men walk in, Alice, when, Cole is helping her up and he starts walking with her, then we see Kat and Nick, and they're also at the Landry farm, but they are in 1925.
Yeah.
So again, we have the parallel of the stories, right?
Back
And
and
they
forth,
want to
yep.
go into the house.
Mm-hmm.
And Cliff is renting the house, the Landry house, in
Right.
1925, but he is not there. And Nick is just like, "Oh, this is fun. Do I get a costume too?" Like he is just, he can't wait to get in there. And Kat is trying to get him to be serious.
Right, because it's
And
dangerous.
then, yeah, and then they get inside and Nick's like, "These suspender thingies are," I don't know what he says, "cumbersome or hard to figure out," or something, because he's putting on Cliff's clothes.
Right. Which is funny.
Right.
But they're there to look for the almanac.
Right.
So that was a fun scene. And then that's when it goes back to Alice and Dell and Nick.
Well, not before Cliff shows up.
Yeah. Well, yes. Cliff shows up and he's got a conversation with them, and he's like, "Ooh, you must shop at the," I don't know, remember what he said, but like the local store,
Yeah.
because he's wearing his clothes and they look the same. And he's like, and Nick is so good in this.
He
He's
is.
just so good in
Well,
this.
I think they had the flask out, didn't they? Kat and Nick had the flask out.
Yes.
And we're still in prohibition, and Cliff is kind of like, again with the alcohol. Again. He's playing that. Dan Janot is playing that so well.
Yeah.
So well as Cliff. And, and then Nick, and it is kind of cute because Nick is like, oh, that's right. It's prohibition. I can't have this,
Yes, it's really good.
And then we find out Nick ends up knowing a lot about that time period, right? And things that went on.
Yes.
Yeah. So, all right.
Yes.
Anywho, all right. So then back to Dell. Then we go back to the present day.
Mm-hmm. And what's going on in this scene?
You brought it up before. Dell is talking to the two men, and she basically tells both of them she's going to need some time alone.
Right.
And they leave, and she sees Cole again in the house, and she, I think, doesn't she say something like, this can't be real? And he says something, and then he grabs her hand, and she can still kind of feel it.
Yeah.
Grabbing her hand. So she's clearly, maybe because she was knocked out or something, seeing Cole.
Yeah, which is, they're starting to tie up a couple of things here. So,
what are they tying up here?
Well, it leads to something in the end, and we'll talk about it.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. I got you.
Right.
So, duh. All right. So then we go back to 1925, and you have Kat and Nick, and they go to the speakeasy.
Woohoo!
And Nick, again, he offers to stay. He says he'll be your bodyguard, and Kat is like, because Kat needs to go find Fern.
Right.
So Nick says, I'll stay here, and she tells him not to drink. So when she goes to leave, he immediately goes and grabs a drink.
Yes.
And she's watching.
With the Augie boys.
That's
right.
Right. So then you're like, oh, what's he going to do? But I'm not suspicious of Nick at all.
No, I don't think he's doing anything nefarious. I just think he's just having a good old time. I think he's an innocent person in all of this. Now, his wife, who I don't think we've seen yet, right?
No, Claire. We have not seen her yet.
She may be up to something. I don't know yet. So we'll go find out.
I think that's going to be a little something. But
yeah, I think so.
And Kat goes on to find Fern.
She goes to the paper, right?
She goes to the Herald. She goes to the office, and she's looking for her, and she finds the Alice in Wonderland book. Now, it does have a note in it. And is this the page that's missing out of Alice's copies? Am I right about that, or am I not?
You are 100% correct.
Okay, so, and the note says, to my little Fern, never forget to be curiouser and curiouser. With love, your Cheshire cat, Auntie Coop.
And there you have it. Fern was back in those times. So
Tessa.
I mean, Tessa was back in those times. Sorry.
You said Fern.
I was
like, we already know Fern is back in those times.
So she was the aunt to Fern, and she must have taught her the
Tainted
Love song. So there you go.
Maybe.
So
we'll get to
it
that.
has to be. There's no other way.
Yeah.
You were correct.
Right. And we know that because Tessa's her maiden last name was Cooper, right? Because we saw that on the driver's license.
Yes.
So
that was found when Alice was digging her
her time capsule.
Yep.
For that. So, or no, she got the suitcase. Tessa's suitcase.
So then Grayson walks in because he was in the office that Kat did not notice he was in.
Well, he owns it, right? At that time?
Yes, he owns it.
He's the owner of the paper, right? Yeah.
And he's all confused about how Fern apparently has been telling Kat all this information, but didn't say anything about Coop. So he's kind of suspicious about that. And they sit down and they have a drink and have a convo, which was pretty interesting. And Kat lets him know that he knows about Cassandra, his sister, who died at a younger age.
Right.
So not sure what's up with that.
Well, and then he shows Kat the movie poster of the movie that they were
Mm,
going to have made there, and it's Cassandra of the Lighthouse. And now we
right.
understand that that was actually his sister.
Yep.
So we're wondering, how far from truth that story is.
Mm-hmm. Did she really die, or was
Did
she
she
held
really die?
captive?
Yep. Yep. And then while we're in that same scene, I know we flash forward a little bit. Alice goes to Elliott's. She's upset that he didn't pick up. Of course, he's just returning from trying to get Jacob to come home.
Right. Right.
Right. So, but back in 1925, between Grayson and Kat, they're having a discussion, and Kat finds out that Fern had a brother who died. So I don't know how that's going to end up playing into everything
In the war.
in the war. Right.
Yeah.
Her mom died young, and then her dad died. So really, Fern is by herself now.
Right.
And Cassandra, Grayson's sister, is the one who ended up bringing Fern around Legomore, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think the brother is going to somehow end up playing a role. Well, show up. He died in the war unless he went and jumped in the pond.
Well, everybody says
'cause he would
die, but
be
you
a
don't know
land-
if they jumped.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Maybe he will.
Man, who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
And like you said, Grayson's suspicious of Kat. He wants to know why Fern is telling her certain details. And, because Kat has asked, who filled in Fern's birth date. And Grayson is instantly suspicious because he's like, Fern tells you everything except about Coop, about who Coop is. So he's suspicious of her. She's suspicious of him. And we don't know what's going on with Coop, what Tessa was doing. Auntie Coop.
I think she was probably trying to get close to a Landry so she could ask them to help her back.
To help her back, yes.
That's the only thing I can think of.
Yes, and you have a suspicion now of who she might have jumped with. Although,
well, there's a lot. I mean, I don't know. It could be Jacob. It could be Griffin. It could be...
when she jumps back, or jumps
back to her time.
Right. But you were saying you think it's possible, although I don't know if this could be true, that Tessa is from the future.
Right. We don't know
and has jumped into the pond and then ended up in the 70s and then stayed like Elliott stayed.
Right. We don't know if...
But maybe not. I don't know. That probably doesn't make sense. I don't know.
Well, we don't know if her timeline is the same as Colton and Dell's timeline when they were in high school. Because I feel like in watching these episodes, she just kind of showed up. And kind of like Alice does, and no one knows where she's from. She's just there. So that was one of my theories. But
what if there were two different Landers from two different times? Like if Kat is there with someone from the future, and then they jump, but they end up at the same place. But then when they jump to go back to they would, I guess, go back to their own timelines, their own eras, right? Okay, I'm trying to work that out in my head.
I know it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, and so Kat has asked Grayson, like, where is Coop? Because she's gone there to find Tessa, right? And when we say Coop, we mean Tessa,
right?
And he says, he doesn't know. He hasn't seen her in a while. She travels a lot, so now we know she probably. But she would have to jump with the Landry. So is she finding someone every single time to jump with? That's why I was confused when he's like, she travels a lot. She's not always here.
Right. We don't know. Unless she can jump herself. I mean, we'll find out as we get closer and closer to the last episode.
Yeah.
But that's when Kat leaves. Because Grayson gets a phone call and she kind of stops outside the door and listens, and it doesn't sound very good for Tessa and for Fern. So that was an interesting phone call. Right.
So then Kat heads back to the speakeasy, and Nick is
He's just having a good old time
and drinking and having the best time with the Augie boys, especially. And they're singing "Show Me the Way to Go Home."
I know, isn't that funny?
And I thought that was good that song came back around. And Kat is upset because she's like, "What the are you doing? Like you're supposed to be."
And then go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and then he's just like, thank you for bringing me here. I love it here. I love 1925. And then were you going to say something before I go to that last?
No, go ahead.
Pardon that scene. No, I was going to say, and then he pulls out a flask and Kat grabs it and Cliff walks up again.
Yes. But I was going to say, prior to leaving, he fist bumps one of the Augie brothers.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yes, he
pass
does.
it along.
Yeah.
Pass it along, the fist bump.
So it's such a, I really enjoyed that particular scene when they're
Yeah.
leaving and he's all excited, but she's mad. And then,
Yeah. And you're right. That's when they go outside and they're talking, and he doesn't do it on purpose, but he just pulls a flask out to go
well,
take
he's
a
not
sip.
thinking, right? Like
Yeah.
he forgets
Because
that you're in
this is his first
prohibition.
time there. And you're right. And he's not in Vegas where you could just carry it down the street and drink as you're going, right? And then all of a sudden there's Cliff again, who seems to pop out of nowhere when there's someone's about to drink some alcohol.
Some alcohol. He's at the right place at the right time for Cliff, but the wrong
Yeah.
place in the wrong time for Kat, usually.
Yep.
And then so Cliff arrests them.
Again.
Right? They get both thrown in jail.
Mhm.
But prior to that, when Alice went to talk to Elliott, Elliott said he wanted to go. He
Right.
wanted to jump, right? So they jump and they end up going to 1979.
Right.
They've come across Evie and Tessa in the woods, and Tessa is, in a white dress
Mm-hmm.
and she is running around. And we originally thought she was the White Witch, but there
Right.
is an OG White Witch, which someone corrected us about because we had
Again.
forgotten that it was Kat.
It was Kat.
And so, but you're wondering, but Tessa hasn't jumped yet, so she wouldn't have seen Kat in the 1800s, right?
Right.
Okay.
No, but the story Fern had told the story several times. Wait a minute. Yeah. Fern had been telling the story of the White Witch. So I don't know if that's how they found out the story or if Tessa had already jumped and seen it. I don't know.
But she doesn't jump until the 80s, I thought. She hadn't jumped yet. Or so we think.
So we think.
Right?
So,
okay, so we
yes.
think. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So Elliott gets, of course, emotional seeing gets a little emotional seeing his mom, and it just reminds me so much of Peggy Sue Got Married, the movie.
Yeah.
I just love. There's just a scene where, and I think we've talked about this before with Nicolas Cage and Kathleen Turner, and they're at their high school reunion. She falls and bumps her head, and now she's dreaming. She's in a dream state, but she goes back in time, and when she goes home, and like, I think she hears her mom, her mom is at the house and she hears her mom speak and she gets kind of choked up because her mom has since passed and everything. And I just, when you see Elliott looking at his mom, and we don't know what's happened to her yet.
Nope.
But he kind of gets teary-eyed. And I mean, it would just be, if you could like if I could time travel, that's what I would want to see is my parents when they were young.
Right.
Like as young adults. I just think that'd be so cool.
Mm-hmm. I think so too.
But
what was interesting is they were walking. It was Tessa, Evelyn, and Evelyn's son. They were walking up to get Dell to take her to, which was Tessa's house, and that's when you find out that Dell had the miscarriage.
Right.
So Alice was like, I'm going to stay here. You go with Tessa and them and follow them. And I'll meet up with you later.
Right. Because Alice wants to kind of watch what goes on with her family. And Elliott, they split up then.
Right.
And Elliott goes to like where his mom is going, basically.
Right.
Right. To see what goes on. And then they go back. Then we're back in 1925, and Kat and Nick are in jail. Nick hands Kat a piece of paper, and she's like, "What's this?" And he's like, "It's the direction to the Augie boys' hideout." And he's basically like, "You didn't think I was just doing all that for fun, did you?" And here he is. He took his job seriously.
He did.
He fit in. He really got some information. He's like a CI, right?
He got the tea.
Yeah, he got the tea
and the tea bag. How about that?
But it's cute because, and then Kat is like, I definitely did. Like, I thought that's totally what you were doing, was just having a good time.
Right.
So they both think that Fern is at the hideout because of Grayson, because Grayson has alluded to, we need to get her and take care of her and, whatever.
Which is another interesting piece. Man,
Yeah.
But this is when Cliff walks up,
Right.
and
Right.
Cliff is funny because he kind of put them in jail because he wanted Fern to come and kind of bail them out. So I think he's got something for Fern,
For
man.
Fern. Well, yeah. We definitely think that, right? We think they
And then that's
hook
when
up.
Kat tells him that Fern's in trouble, and they kind of go back and forth, and Cliff is like, okay, I'll let you out if you go find him, but you need to be careful. And this is when he tells Nick that he knows that he's wearing his clothes.
Yes. Yeah.
So, that was so funny. And he was like, he turned to Kat and said, you really got a drinking problem.
Yeah. It's kind of cute. It's very well done. It's just very, very well done.
It was.
And, when Kat says Fern might be in trouble, and Cliff immediately says, what did Grayson do?
Yes.
That tells Kat that she is onto something with Grayson.
Yep.
That he's not the guy that,
yeah, that Cliff is just not there for the alcohol. He's there because something's going down.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. And then it cuts back to now we're at Tessa's house, and Tessa and Evelyn are on a blanket outside in the yard, and Evelyn wants to read her future. Or no, I'm sorry, Tessa wants to read her palms, but then Evelyn goes, well, let me do your tarot cards first. And then that's when we find out that, what were the cards? One was,
so Elliott is watching this scene, and one card is the Knight of Cups card, which means someone tall is going to show up for her. And doesn't she say Victor isn't that tall or something? I don't know. And then the other card is the Empress, and that's a fertility card. And then they proceed to have a conversation about, having babies, and Tessa isn't sure if she wants to be a mom. And Evie basically gives her a pep talk about it. It's like, it's the greatest gift. And then Tessa's like, well, you make it sound so great. Maybe I do want to be a mom, or, something to that effect. So they have this moment, and Elliott, because at first when Tessa's like, I don't want to, I don't think I want to be a mom, he's kind of like crushed a little bit. And then when she comes around, his face softens, and, he's really acting through his facial expressions during that scene. It was really, really good.
Yeah,
really well done.
He did a really good job on that.
And then we jump back to the present, and Dell and Julian are at the kitchen table, because that's where everyone has serious conversations. I mean that, the kitchen is where it's at. It's where everybody gathers, right?
Yeah.
And they both admit that they have butterflies around each other, but Dell is like, I have to go check on my horse Lightning.
Right.
Right.
And,
and then
not lightning.
Right. And we're like, what? Because I think she says Stormy like 10 times before that point to get it across so people are paying attention. I think it's
Have
just
a drink
funny.
for
She's
every
like,
time
I love
Dell
Stormy.
says Stormy.
Stormy came running to Alice, it's just, but, so Dell goes to the stable, and that's where she sees Cole, and then Jacob shows up, and she's just like back in her blissful time of being married, and Jacob was there, and she doesn't want to leave.
Yeah.
That particular period, right?
Yeah, and that's when baby or little Jacob shows up, and they play tag, and they run out of the stables.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Jacob shows up as a young boy, and she's back in that time. Yeah. But then you have Alice back in 1979, and she's listening to Cole and Dell, and Dell is upset about the miscarriage. They have a very emotional conversation. Alice gets upset because she's hurting for her grandma, because she had no idea, about the history. And then it comes back to present day, and Sam goes to the house, and Julian is still there, and he's like, where's Dell? And Julian's like, well, Dell went to get Lightning. And Sam, of course, says, Lightning? That's not her horse. That's her horse. Was that Colton's horse or something? She's like,
and he goes barreling out the door to go save Dell.
Right. And then, of course, Dell is thinking that Cole is calling her, so she's walking through the cornfield.
Yeah.
And then she ends up passing out, and she hears Jacob running around, and Cole is there. It was pretty well shot.
Yeah, it was.
And that whole scene was really well done, I thought.
Yep.
And then Sam finds her and carries her home.
Yep.
And picks her up.
Puts her in bed. Tells her she has a concussion.
Yeah.
Bum,
yeah.
Bum, bum.
Dun, dun, dun.
And then we go back to, what is it, 79? And Evelyn goes back in the house, and when she does, Tessa takes the 2 cards, the Knight of the Cups and the fertility one, right? I think so.
Yes.
And Elliott
The
kind of
Empress
looks
and
like, what
Knight
in the
of
world?
Cups.
What's going on? But then she goes in, and this is probably my favorite scene. When Victor pulls up and he's like, hey, you, Mr. Peepin' Tom, what are you doing in my yard? And they just had the most like heartfelt conversation. And I think at that point, Elliott has a totally different look on his dad, understanding of his
Well,
dad.
because Victor's like all excited about his life ahead. He can't wait to have kids. He hopes he has a son that he can go fishing with and teach things to, and teach him hockey. And then he's like, Tessa's going to do all the smart stuff, right? She's
all
going to
the
teach the
brain
math
stuff,
and
all the brain power
brain
stuff.
Yeah, poetry and math. And Elliott's just like, that's why I say if you could see your parents and like their expectations, and then, of course, their life didn't turn out that way.
Right.
Because Tessa ends up disappearing. But it's just really, you're right. It gives Elliott a new perspective about his dad. It sort of doesn't excuse the way his dad was when he was growing up, but he has a better understanding now. And, life happens.
Yeah.
Like you have all these dreams and expectations, and crappy things happen.
So let me ask you this on a sidebar real quick. So you remember Nick and Alice were kind of liked each other when Alice jumped back to the teenage times
in
of
the
Cole
70s,
and Dell.
yeah.
And then back in the present time, when Nick came to see Elliott as an older adult, he didn't recognize her right away, but I don't remember what was said or happened that made Nick then realize, oh my God, this is Alice. What in the heck?
I don't remember.
That can be. So I'm wondering, now that Elliott had this scene with Victor, would Victor now recognize Elliott when he sees him the next time?
I think that your memory is a funny thing. And I think that for Victor, when they had their baby, when he had the baby with Tessa, you watch the baby grow up, and there might be some deja vu, but I don't think he would have a direct visual memory of the kid that was in the yard. Because over time, memories fade, they change.
Right.
You may think the shirt was blue when it was yellow. I mean, there's all. So I don't think, and even if he thought Elliott turned out to be a dead ringer for the kid he saw in the yard, he would never think they were the same person.
Right.
Unless he time traveled and knew. But, but you would never, it's just like, I don't think that it's unreasonable to believe that Nick didn't recognize Alice. Right. He might have had a sense of, and I honestly don't remember the first time he saw her. I don't really recollect that in the past seasons, or how he ended up finding out. I mean, we could go back and look, but there might be a moment of, gosh, you look familiar.
Right.
Like I don't know. I don't think it's unreasonable to think they wouldn't recognize them.
Yeah. So I just wanted to put it out there.
Yeah. Just my opinion.
So
I know. Cause you're like, I can't believe Nick, when we were watching it, you're like, how does he not know her? And I'm like, well, it's been like, 30 years or whatever. 25, 30 years. But.
Yeah. Well, then the next scene.
Well, and plus, when you see her in the present day, even if you thought you remembered her, she looked like, why would she look the exact same today?
Well, I'm just saying.
She wouldn't have aged,
Well, Nick recognized Alice, so I don't know. I was just going along the storyline.
Nick recognized Alice?
Yeah.
I thought you just said you didn't know if he did.
No, he did.
When he first saw her?
Not when he first saw her. I don't know what triggered it. That's what I was saying.
Okay.
Would there be a moment where something triggers the memory? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Well, yeah, I guess there could be.
All right, moving on.
I'd have to revisit that episode.
So the next scene is Kat and Nick walking through the forest, and they're having that banter back and forth and discussing like how Nick has been very helpful, and Kat is like, really? I don't think so. And he like points and he's like, see, we found a hideout, right?
Yeah.
the Augie boy hideout.
So aren't you glad I'm helping? Or something? Aren't you glad you brought me along? I'm helping. He's so excited. Because he's a seaman too, right? So he knows the talk.
He knows the talk, yeah. And then we cut back to Dell, you know,
Yeah.
sitting on the porch swing with Jacob, baby Jacob, or little Jacob, sorry. And of course, she's having the dream again. And Alice is trying to wake her up.
Cole
Or
is
she
there
does.
too.
And Cole's there too. And he wakes her up and tells her she didn't have to. This is when Alice tells Dell that she had jumped back to the time when she found out she had the miscarriage. And she told Dell, you didn't have to, fight this alone. You don't have to be brave all the time. And that was a very heartfelt moment too.
I thought, oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Because Dell says, oh, like she.
Yeah, like, where have you been? And she said, I jumped. And she
Right.
said, where'd you jump? And she told her.
That's right. That's
yeah.
right. And then Alice leaves Dell's room then and calls Jacob.
Right.
And she's crying, and she's so good in
Oh
that
my
scene.
God, that was
Sadie. What is her name? Sadie Laflamme Snow, I think.
I got goosebumps on
and
that.
I know, and she's calling because her mom isn't there. Her mom has jumped, and Elliott's not there because he has jumped. Or no, I guess he's in 1979. Or no, did he stay?
He
Wait a minute.
I think he's at his house.
Right.
Because they came back.
Right. But she's just crying, and she's like, I'm all alone. I don't know what to do. And that's a lot. It's very heavy for a teenager.
Yeah.
It'd be heavy for an adult, but it's a lot. And she doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know if Dell's possibly going to die, because she keeps passing out. And it's just that she's so, so good in that scene. I thought. Yeah. And then we go back to the Augie boys. And what Kat and Nick, or they're listening to them talk.
Right.
The Augie boys talk, and they're talking about Fern. How long do you think they're going to send her away for? And if Coop comes back, there'll be hell to pay if Coop actually comes back. So now we don't know what Tessa has done to the Augie boys.
Right.
Right. Or what she has done in general. So
double crossing.
I think she probably did. Yeah. Yeah. I think she's probably onto them. And then Nick sneezes, and then they're found out that they're hiding, right? So they see him, and they end up seeing Kat, and they're like, you. It's another you moment. So, and then I think they stand up, and that's when Kat's like, run. So then they head towards, right. And then they end up at Landry Farm. They finally find Fern. She's outside the farm, and Fern is like, I'm as fit as a fiddle, because Kat, they didn't know where she was. They thought she was in trouble. And then I love it when Fern says, who's this hunk of butter about Nick?
Yes.
Did you hear that? Yes. It was so funny. And Nick's kind of like, huh,
Yeah, he's like, look at me. I got it in the 20s too.
And then, of course, Kat is very upset because now she knows that Fern knows who Auntie Coop really is, and that it probably was Tessa, and why didn't she tell her sooner?
Right.
And then Fern says Coop always told us someone might come looking for her at the farm one day.
Right.
And every time she'd visit, she'd ask if it happened yet, and had the person finally come. And that's when Kat's really angry, because she's like, you could have told me sooner.
Right.
And I thought it was interesting because Fern's like, only films are in black and white. Kitty cat. Life is much more complicated and complex than that.
Yeah, that was very good.
Yeah. And Kat wants to know where she is, where Tessa is, and is she coming back? And that's when the Augie boys show up, and Fern tells them to run, of course. Right. And they are running towards the pond, and Nick is slower than Kat, and he gets caught, and he's getting beat up. And then the other Augie boy holds Kat under the water, and Fern shows up, and then Nick ends up getting away from them and jumping in the water.
No, they push him in the water.
Oh no, that's right. They pushed him in the water.
They think they're going to drown him by pushing him in the water.
Right. And by that time, the vines have already started to wrap around Kat, and you're not sure if Nick is going to stay, get caught there, but he ends up grabbing Kat's hand, and they get pulled away.
Right.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I think those shots, I think I heard Chyler Leigh say those are pool days. It's in there, I think maybe the director's backyard pool.
Yeah.
And they set it all up. It's really, that would be an elaborate, very cool setup. The way they do
Yeah,
it and the way they tug them underneath the water
it's
to look like they're
crazy.
being pulled away. Yeah,
Right.
pretty cool.
It was it was a good scene because
Yeah.
I thought for sure he was going to get left behind. I
I actually wasn't sure in that. I was like, I was kind of 50-50.
and I
Didn't
kind of
know. I
like
never know.
the look on Fern's face when the Augie boys are like, "Do you think the pond, you know, took him or something like that?" And she goes, "Yeah, the pond took him." And she had a smirk on her face, like, "Ha ha! If you only knew."
Yeah, yeah. Yep.
So then we go back to where Alice is trying to wake up Dell again because she's having a dream about Cole and Jacob. And this is what I was talking about is Cole was actually trying to tell her it's okay, you can leave us here now. Go back
He's
to
telling her to go back.
go back. And she's like, I don't want to. I want to be here with you. I want to be here with Jacob. And he's like, you are with Jacob. And she's like, what? And then that's when Jacob comes in and he's
Well,
telling
Cole says, "Don't be sad for what you lost. Be grateful for what
what you,
remains."
right.
Yeah,
And
which was
that's
a
when
very
Jacob
powerful line.
comes and he's able to wake her up and
Yeah.
all is well.
Well, and Jacob is there.
Right.
Jacob's home, and he basically says he was already on his way home
Yeah.
when he
He had
got
just landed
Alice's
when he got
Alice's
Mhm.
call.
That's
Right.
how he was. Because when he first showed up, I'm like, now come on, she just called him. How in the world did he get there so fast? But
He
he had
explained it.
already landed.
The writing was good. They explained
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
And then Kat shows up. She's back.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course Dell has a talk with Julian and she tells him she can't go with him because he has invited her to go wherever to some festival or
Mm-hmm.
wherever he's going to be. And, you know, she's just sort of stuck in that plate. Not stuck necessarily, but I don't know.
Yeah.
She
We'll
feels like
see.
she can't leave and she's
Right.
still, I don't want to say hung up on Cole, but it's like the true love of her life. You know, some people just never really get
Well,
over
she
that.
loves her home. She loves the
Yeah.
farm. She
Yeah.
loves now that Jacob's back even more. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And then she says, dreams are delicious. She says
Yeah.
that to Julian, about
Yes.
dreaming. And I thought that was good too, because they really are. And then,
Well, Julian took it good. I mean, I thought you could have, taken it
yeah.
any better than that. So
Yeah. And then Nick says to Kat that he closed on his first house and he's going to
yes.
be back with Claire. And then they'll be moving there in like a
Ooh.
month or something.
So we get to see who Claire is.
Right. And then Elliott, Jacob, Kat, and Dell are talking in the kitchen. Kat tells Elliott that they need to keep jumping because she believes they're going to find Tessa.
Yep.
And he's like, no more jumps right now. You stay with your family. Your brother and your mom need you. And then he leaves and he's all like mischievous.
Yeah,
He
I
grabs the
know. The
keys
look
out
on
of her
his face.
purse. And then he goes to the newspaper office and he is looking at old clips in the Herald newspaper.
Yeah, trying to find her.
Trying to find his mom and more information, I would presume maybe about Grayson and that. So, it was a jam-packed episode, that's for sure.
A lot to unpack. Yeah.
No. Do you have any other theories? I mean, we kind of speculated that Casey, she hasn't been in this season yet.
Right.
I don't think, but that she might be Alice's daughter. She's from the future and come back. But someone told us online that that's not the case, that the writers have confirmed it's not Alice's daughter.
See, I wish it would have been written that way. That would have been so cool.
I know. It would have been cool. You just wanted your theory to be right. That's all that was.
But then who is she? So
well, some people are saying maybe, I mean, I don't know, Jacob's daughter? A granddaughter? I have no idea. I'm not even going to guess because
yeah, it's too hard. She'd have to be way in the future. I don't know.
So
Anyway.
I mean, we have some. I wish Elliott hadn't. The only thing I didn't like was that, Elliott really was kind of, I don't know, looking angry in the end, or like real. He was supposed to be determined but more angry, and I'm like, I would just be like, no, you're fine, and then just go and do it. Like have a different, like, I'm going to investigate this. But so I guess, we're going to find out. I'm curious to know where Tessa is, who Tessa is, if the lady in the bar ends up being Jacob's love interest.
And who Casey is and who were the people that survived the tunnel blast and
Yeah,
was the one
yeah.
that supposedly didn't.
Yeah. And what happens with the Augie boys?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we
And
end up
Grayson.
knowing that
Yeah.
Victor ends up being a descendant of them
Mm-hmm.
because he's Victor Augustine. So, and Elliott.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see where it goes. Where it goes. Nobody
Oh my
knows.
gosh.
All
Nobody
right.
knows. So what do you think?
Out of 5 jumps, how many would you give this episode?
I'm going to give this one a 5 only because it was jam-packed with some stuff, boy.
It was jam-packed. It really was. I'm going to give it a 4.5. I mean, I enjoyed it.
All
It
right.
was jam-packed. I'm trying to keep my brain straight, you know. All right.
So is that a wrap?
That's a wrap.
All right. So the best way that you can help other Hallmark fans find us is by giving us a 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify and leaving us a review, a nice review. But if you enjoy watching us on YouTube, you can catch us at Pour the Wine. It's Rom-Com Time. Click the like button, then hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our episodes.
And make sure you follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Those are the 2 social media sites that we are focused on.
Yes.
And wherever you podcast so you don't miss a thing. Until next time, cheers.
Cheers.